guys, it's Lauren from the Granite State Yarns podcast. This is my podcast where I talk about all of my knitting, crocheting, and other crafty adventures. You can find me at my website, www.granitestateyarns.com, and over there I sell hand-dyed sock yarn, both in fingering and DK weight, as well as a few different knitting patterns over there for socks if you're interested. You can also find me on Instagram at Granite State Yarns. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. And if you're new, welcome. So I have just a little bit of knitting to talk about today. I have been keeping up with my weekly podcasts for the most part. And so I don't really have a ton to talk about for this week. I've done quite a bit of knitting, but it's only been on a few different projects. So I don't have a whole lot to talk about. I'm not going to update you on projects that I haven't touched in the last week. So we're just going to talk about these few things that I do have. So yeah, I have 3 different projects as well as some acquisitions to talk about. And yeah, I think that's just about it. So let's start off with a finished object. I have these socks here, which I had just begun at the last podcast, and I actually got them finished. So these are knit in Cedar Hill Farm Company. This is Dogwood Days. And I knit these on 9-inch circulars. So I have been trying to get into 9-inch circulars. I've knit a few other pairs of socks. I think 2 other pairs over the past couple of years that I've had my 9-inch circulars, and I just did not like them. But I have so many knitting projects or so many sock projects on the needles right now that I didn't have any extra size 1 needles. I usually knit my socks with size 0 needles, but my gauge has tightened up a little bit, and I really wanted to knit these on a slightly bigger needle, and I don't have a whole ton of size 1 needles. And like I said, I have a couple of sock projects going right now on my size 1s, and then a couple of them are being used by my daughters who also knit. So the only size 1 needle that I did have was Knit Picks. It was a 32-inch fixed circular needle, and the tips on the Knit Picks needles just aren't quite sharp enough for my preference, and so I really wasn't enjoying using them so much, and I figured that would be a good opportunity to try the size, or to try the 9-inch circulars one more time and see if I could find the love, because so many of my friends like using the 9-inch circulars and they keep talking about it, and I have heard sometimes it does take a few pairs of socks before you really get used to them. And I will say that by the end of this pair, I think I actually started to enjoy them. It's my son back there. Hi, Thomas. Yeah, so I think I really kind of was getting the hang of it. Like, I think it was just like developing that muscle memory and figuring out how I could comfortably hold the needles. And I did get quite a bit more comfortable with them by the end of the socks. So I think I will be using them a bit more often. I think I'm still a magic loop girl, but nice to have one more option, especially when I fill up my size 1 needles, right? And sometimes you just like to switch things up a little bit. So I did use the size 1 magic loop Knit Picks needles for the heels, toes, and cuffs. Especially I knit cuff down, and just those first few rows can be a little bit fiddly, and so I didn't want to be fighting with the 9-inch circulars, and so I just went with the magic loop for the beginning. And then, like I said, when you get down here, it's a lot easier just to, at least for me, I found it's a lot easier just to switch to either DPNs or magic loop for the heels and toes. Actually, I don't think that you can knit toes and other like really small diameters even on those 9-inch circulars. So that's what I did, and that worked out really well. I will say, little note, I do use a size 0 9-inch circular to get the same gauge as my size 1 magic loop, because it tends to, I'm a little bit looser at that really small diameter, and I think that's pretty common. Got that trick from Kay, the crazy sock lady. I know she does the same thing. She moves down to a size 0 9-inch circular. So yeah, these came out really nice. I love this color. My daughter picked it out. This is like deep stash, well, ish deep stash. I got this yarn a couple of years ago and had her look through my collection, and this was the yarn that she picked out. Like I said, this is Dogwood Days, and it is really, really pretty. It's got this nice light pink background with some nice hot pink speckles and some greens, and there's even every now and then this really fun blue bit in the yarn. I'm trying to find some other little spots where that blue showed up, and she and I both got a real kick out of those. I don't know. I love those unexpected bursts of color sometimes in certain colorways. So yeah, this was I cast on 64 stitches. I did a knit one, purl one cuff, my usual heel flap and gusset, and then just a rounded toe. Easy peasy, really simple. So nice to have these done, and my daughter will be very happy that I've talked about these on the podcast, so now she can have them and she can wear them. So that's my one finished object for the week. I have 2 sock whips that I worked on. Actually, these are both new cast-ons. I do have another sock that I'm working on right now. It's the, don't mind my son with his truck. It's the acrylic blend socks that I have talked about the last couple of podcasts. I just didn't knit on those at all this week, so I'm not going to talk about them. I'll talk about them hopefully next week. I'll get some more work done on them. But I did cast on a couple of other socks. So I will start with this project bag, which this was made by my friend Crafting Euphoria on Instagram. I've got a cool little team cuff down pin here that I got from Allison Clark, and I'll link her down below. This is, if you remember, I talked about the test knit that I'm doing for Professor Pearl, and she is going to be releasing very soon a new pattern for DK weight or fingering and mohair socks. They're her Celaena Socks, if I'm pronouncing them correctly. And I already knit one pair for the test knit, and I did those in DK weight yarn, but I wanted to try it in the fingering and mohair because I have some mohair in my stash and have not yet knit with it. And I was really dying to give that a try because this was the perfect opportunity to do that. So I cast these on last week or earlier this week. I don't remember exactly, a few days ago. I think technically it would have been late last week. And here they are. So this, for the mohair, I'm using Knit Picks Aloft in white. And for the fingering weight yarn, it is Yarnable, my Yarnable yarn from a few months ago. It's the Born to be Mild. And I am loving this combination. It's like, I compared it, it's like a happy little cloud. If you remember Bob Ross painting. It is so light and so soft. I was getting a little bit worried when I cast this on and was knitting with it because I was feeling a little sneezy and my throat was kind of hurting a little bit. And I got worried that I was allergic to mohair. So I ended up putting my project in timeout, sadly. I think I got through, I think I had started the heel flap. Because this just goes so quick. Like literally, it was just like in one sitting, I had gotten all the way through that whole, I mean, I did the leg a little bit short, but still, I'd gotten to about, like I said, a few rows into the heel flap, and I was really getting nervous that I was allergic to the mohair. So I put the project in timeout and realized that it was not the mohair, it was just a cold. I just happened to be coming down with a cold at the same time. So that was a happy thing to learn, that I'm totally fine with this mohair. It's not causing me any real trouble. I just had to get over that cold, which was a very mild cold, by the way. That's how mild it was, because it was like, is it a cold or is it just an allergy? Just a cold. So I worked a little bit more on this last night. I think from that heel flap all the way through the turn and the gusset decreases, and now I'm about halfway down the foot. I did all that yesterday. This sock just knits up so quickly, and this pattern is so fun and easy to do. So I will definitely be blasting the news when Professor Pearl, Nicole, when she releases this pattern, because it is so nice. I highly recommend it. I am so excited about these socks though, because like I said, I've never knit with Mohair, and it's really nice. I see where everybody talks about it, and I'm very excited to have a really luxurious pair of socks. So these will get done. I would assume by the next podcast I will have this pair done, because they're just knitting up super quick. So my other project is in a bag by Midwest Stitches. This is my favorite new bag that she sent me a little while ago for my birthday. And I am knitting a new pair of shorty socks. And I've got a new needle situation going on here. But let's talk about the socks first. Let me just make sure. Okay. I stopped like 2 stitches here, so hopefully I'm not gonna lose the needles here. But this is zebra yarns in her peacock sock set colorway. So Anna, I got this yarn from Anna a little while ago, a few months ago, and this is the first time I finally pulled it out to knit with. I have knit with zebra yarns before. I did my striped 12 Days of Christmas Advent socks and loved her yarn, but hadn't yet used her. Like, she mainly does 2-tone like zebra self-striping yarn. So you can see this one is just that teal blue and this nice like grassy green color. So that's kind of her thing. I know she has some self-striping yarn that's more than 2 colors. What, honey? It's my sock. Okay. So she mainly does 2-tone self-striping yarn. I know she has a few that are more than 1 color, but for the most part, it is a zebra yarn. Not just a clever name, right? Look at, she even sent me this really cute little zebra marker here. So, so I finally pulled out this yarn to knit with, and I am loving it so much. I love. Okay, some technical difficulties there, but so this these. Oh no, like I said, I was gonna lose my needle, and there it goes, but that's okay. I can fix this quick while I am talking. You know what I'll do? I'm gonna move these last 2 stitches back onto the needle and then just redo them later. That way I won't lose them again. Okay, so after all those technical difficulties of my son playing with the tripod here, the stripes here are a lot narrower than the Felice yarn that I am usually using for self-striping. So I'm really enjoying these narrower stripes, and I just love this combination of colors. So I'm planning on doing the this bright like royal blue for the toes and the sock. So like I had done with that sock set box for, I think we talked about those last week. I did a picot edge cuff, which I really enjoy doing with my new technique now of starting off with 1 color and then going through the eyelet section and then doing an extra row. As I've always said, I do have a tutorial on how to do the picot cuff, and I will link that probably up in the eye, wherever that is. So just look up there somewhere. Yeah, so these are just gonna be really simple shorty socks. I'll get these done really quick, not a big deal. You'll notice that I have some new exciting needles here. So while I was looking around at size 1 needles, I really would like to get another pair. Well, not pair, I'd like another magic loop size 1 needle. And I was going to get some Chow Goos from the Crazy Sock Lady, but she's currently sold out. So doing some Googling and this and that, and ended up coming across the HiyaHiya flyers. Do I have no, I don't have the little bag that it came in. So I've seen these. I'll show you this one. So they come in sets of 3, and they're like basically little mini circular. Well, they're not circulars because they don't actually make a circle. So they're like somewhere in between a circular needle and a double pointed needle, and they come in sets of 3. So if you've ever knit a sock, which I haven't, but I know of this technique of knitting with 2 sets of 16-inch circulars. It's kind of like a combination of the 2 16 inches and DPNs. And I would say even the 9-inch circulars, because you've got these little tiny tips here. I don't think that I would have enjoyed using these if I hadn't just recently figured out how to enjoy 9-inch circulars, because I've already kind of worked through that changing of how I hold these shorter needles, and I'm actually enjoying this process. So basically I've got 2 needles here, and you just knit one side and then you move over, then you knit one side, and then now this needle's free, and then you use it for the next needle and knit across. And then you just keep transitioning from each needle that you're using. So it's pretty straightforward. It's simple. I don't know. I think as I'm still learning, I feel like I'm knitting kind of slowly with them, because I'm still not super confident with the holding of the shorter needles. So I think my knitting is just kind of slower. And where on the 9-inch circular, you keep going in circles. Here, I do have to stop and flip things around. So I think I'm probably knitting the sock slower than I would be if I was doing either 9-inch circulars or magic loop or DPNs. But I do like them. I'm enjoying them. So I'm going to at least do this pair. But I do see these being part of my regular rotation in the future. Yeah. I do have, these are size 1s. I didn't notice any issue with gauge for these because it's not fiddly the same way that the 9-inch circular is. I don't have to play around with the needle size. Doing the size 1 is working just fine. I'm getting a lovely fabric here, so I'm very happy about that. But yeah, I've been wanting to try these out for a long time, and I'm really glad that it took me until now to buy them, because like I said, I think if I had tried these in the past, I probably would have hated them. I know these can be people are very opinionated in general about their needles, and I have heard people who love the flyers, or is that what they're called? The HiyaHiya? Yeah, they're the flyers. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, some people love this sort of one. There's also what's the other? Addy? Is this, I think, what are they called? Addy makes another version where there's like one side's really sharp and one side's really dull. They're the same basic idea. The technique is the same. Some people love them and other people hate them. So I had been kind of worried because they're an investment. They're like $25 for the set, and it's kind of a shame if you buy them and then you end up really not liking them. Now, it might just be you need to practice a little bit more and you'll start to like them, but sometimes do you really want to be practicing on a new needle, or do you just want to be able to knit, right? So I guess if you are on the fence about them, only buy them if you just don't like the needles that you're using right now and you really want to try something different. Or if you are willing to go through those like growing pains of learning a new needle, because it might be worth it and you might end up really liking them, or you might not. There's also a lot of people who've bought them and hated them and don't ever want to use them again. And you might be able to find a friend who might be willing to even send you a pair. So there's that. Just saying. But I don't know. I'm liking them. And I like switching things up. And while I still think that Magic Loop is my favorite, I do like, every now and then I pull out my double pointed needles and I knit a pair of socks in double pointed needles. And I know every now and then I'm going to want to do 9-inch circulars, and I think every now and then I'm going to want to do the HiyaHiya flyers too. So, you know, it's just fun to kind of try different things. And I also like being experienced in different ways that people knit their socks. So that is all of the knitting that I have to talk about. That is what I have done the last week. But I do have one last thing to talk about, and that is a new acquisition that I got. My friend Danielle from Midwest Stitches has a new spring collection that she just released last week, and her bags are, as always, gorgeous, and I had to buy one more bag. So this one here that I just talked about quickly, this is part of her spring collection, and last I checked, she had these available in small and medium sizes. And then there's a bunch of other bags that she has. And I picked this one, which just came in the mail today. And this one, if I remember correctly, is Wildflowers. And it is so pretty. It's the same material as this bag, I think. Looks like it, yeah. It's looks like it's woven, so it's not knit. It doesn't have a whole lot of stretch to it, but it is such a lovely fabric. It's a little bit thicker than your usual cotton, like the quilting cotton. It just feels really nice, and the bottom is that same material. And then on the inside is this really pretty polka dot purple. Actually, I think this one here, this one has polka dot purple too, but it's a little bit different. So you can see the difference. This one is the small, and then this one is the medium. So there's definitely a difference there. But I love this one for socks. This is perfect size for socks for sure. And then this one I think is going to make a really nice one for maybe a shawl, or I don't know what else. Maybe a sweater for one of my children. But I just wanted to get something that was just a little bit bigger. And sometimes it's nice to, like if you're doing scrappy socks, to be able to have a little bit of extra room to be able to get all of those little minis in a bag. So this size is going to be really nice for that. And I just love this fabric so much. It's so springy, so colorful. So Thomas over there. How's it going, bud? And Danielle, I just dropped it, but Danielle also sent me this adorable little Yarn Nerd stitch marker. Isn't it cute? It matches my coffee cup that I've talked about before. Isn't it cute though? So these are brand new in her shop right now too. So if you are interested in these bags or this stitch marker, or any of the other bags that Danielle has, definitely take a look at her shop because they're awesome. Would you like to show everybody your water bottle? Go ahead. Did you get a new water bottle? Yeah? Now he's not interested in showing it. What's on it, buddy?
Sharkies.
Sharkies. Very nice. So I'll link Danielle's shop down below and definitely take a look. Oop, careful, buddy. You're going to hit the tripod again. So that is all I have to talk about today. Like I said, pretty quick. Look at that. I'm under a half hour so far. So that'll make this nice and quick to edit, and I should be able to get it up really soon because I didn't record over the weekend like I normally do because I had laryngitis from that cold. That really mild cold that gave me laryngitis. And I figured nobody needed to hear my scratchy voice. So, not a whole lot to talk about new things here. Like I said, we were really enjoying the nice spring weather, and then it got cold again, so that's kind of a bummer. But it's okay. Spring will definitely come eventually, and we are all looking forward to it because the kids, who are all standing over here looking at me right now, except for the one that's over off in the distance saying, it's not me, I'm not there. We are all looking forward to spring though, huh guys? So we can get outside and record podcasts outside and play outside, right? Oh, chickens. Yes, we're getting chickens. Everyone's excited about chickens. So I'll talk about those when they come. They're not here yet. but we will have little baby chicks very soon. So you heard it here first. New chicks coming to the Granite State Yarns podcast. All right, so I hope you all have a lovely week. Thank you so much for coming by and listening to me chat about my knitting, and we'll talk to you again real soon. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Over here. Bye. Y'all come back now here.